Hey, what's up guys? Shillux here, welcome back to more Witch on the Holy Night. Last time we was it chapter 10 or 11? I don't even remember. I think it was, I don't know. It was something. Alice fought Toko and got fucked up. And yeah, and then Toko called up the mansion, was like, hey Sojiro, I kind of beat Alice's ass. Well, do you want her location? And if you do, you're my enemy 100%. Like, straight up. That's it. And he was like, I'm not leaving her to die, you know? So, yeah, he got the location and went and saved Alice's bootay. And yeah, now we are on to the chapter with the game's name, Witch on the Holy Night 1. So, yeah. Anyway, let's done with the rambling. Let's get on with the episode. Witch on the Holy Night 1. Aoko had not hung up, but the line remained silent. Oh yeah, and it ended off with Aoko calling the mansion and being like, sorry Alice, they got me. And yeah, that's not good. Not good whatsoever. Alice set down the receiver, quickly put on her mantle and made for the entrance, moving her injured body by sheer willpower alone. Along the way, she paused, then turned to Sojiro and looked directly at him.
Aoko に何かあったんだな。
Yeah, a little bit. Supposedly. Alice hesitated for a moment before pushing aside her anxiety and grabbing his hand.
しずきくん、一緒に来て。
Yeah, I honestly feel like leaving him alone here would be worse if Toko showed up. So I actually agree with this, with her taking him with. I think that's the best idea.
一緒にってどこに?
Well, you know, just out.
間教会まで。青子の方は営利神父にお願いするしかないから。
Isn't the church supposed to be like neutral though? Like why would he help? Unless I'm misunderstanding something. But I don't think I am, right? I'm pretty sure the church is meant to be neutral.
間教会って病院の横にある?
Yeah.
そう。知っているのなら問題ないわね。説明する手間も省けたわ。
Yeah, Aoko took us there once. Well, sort of. It was a volunteer thing that she had to go along with us to make sure we got there, and yeah. Alice left the mansion and made her way down the tree-lined path. She was clearly determined, but the look in her eyes betrayed her pain.
アリス、連絡をするなら電話は?
No time. Sojiro asked Alice, whose grip on his hand was light but unyielding. She's pretty strong, huh?
教会の人にならもう知らせた。
Huh?
もしかして病院のことを言っているなら、それこそ無駄よ。ハイヤーなんて言うけど、空を飛ぶわけでもないし。今は助けを呼ぶより、助けに行かないと間に合わない。
Sorry, I had to pause to sneeze. Or, mute to sneeze. Alice thought of everything. She turned to the mansion and lightly snapped her fingers. Oh, there's multiple robins! Oh! Okay. So when Sojiro heard he thought he heard like a bunch of birds. There were a bunch of birds. He wasn't crazy.
1番隊は索敵。2番隊と3番隊は現場に向かって応急処置を。在庫切れになってもいいわ。まだ生きているなら、青子の心臓を止めないで。
Alice commanded the birds firmly.
しずきくんは裏庭から青子の自転車を持ってきて。
Okay. Sojiro let slip his discomfort at the thought of that thing. What? The custom-made red bicycle. What? When he was cleaning the incinerator, Aoko had verbally assaulted him for nearly scratching it. Yeah, well, I think at this point...
いいけど、どうするつもりなんだ、アリスは。
ここにいるより教会にいた方がしずきくんは安全よ。それに私も急がないといけない。しずきくん、二人乗りできる？
I'm probably. I don't see why not. You're pretty light apparently, so. What? He had seen others ride tandem and was confident he could do it. Only it was the bicycle that concerned him. Its frame was so light, Sojiro was unsure it could support both their weights.
ん？二人乗りってことは、アリスが後ろに乗るのか？
Didn't you literally have her on your back all the way here? From her battle site? Like, what? What? Like, why is it? Okay.
できないならいいわ。
Alice turned away as if to snub him, then began walking. Unfortunately for Sojiro, he was now on her bad side.
いや、そういう意味じゃないんだ。アリスとはイメージが合わなかったから。
Well, Aoko's like dying somewhere, and you're like, bruh. Desperate times, Sojiro, desperate times, okay? Ignoring his pleas, she continued briskly towards the woods. Or toward the woods. There was no way she was going to ride the bike now. Sensing her stubborn streak, he desperately called out to her.
待った、今のはこっちが悪かった。すぐに持ってくるから、怒るのはつけにしておいてくれ。
Fair enough, I guess. Alice stopped. As soon as he saw her stop, he hurried to the rear courtyard, grabbed the key from where it was hanging, and used it to unlock Aoko's bicycle. By the time Sojiro brought it back to the front of the mansion, Alice was continuing toward the forest.
アリスの性格、なんとなくつかめてきたな。
Weird mix of kudere and tsundere. Muttering to himself, he straddled the bike. He rested his foot on a pedal. It felt light but sturdy. Confident the bike could support his weight and Alice's, he began pedaling.
アリス!
She turned as he called out to her, before shooting him a piercing glare.
行こう。後ろの荷台に乗ってくれ。でもクッションがないから痛いと思う。辛かったら言ってくれ。止めるから。
私は大丈夫よ。しずきくんが嫌じゃなければの話だけど。
Damn. Cold as ice. He had hit the nail on the head. Alice definitely held a grudge over the smallest things. Yeah.
そういうことなら問題ないよ。アリスが後ろにいてくれるのは嬉しい。それで、行き先は間境界でいいんだ。
Now you're sucking up, huh? I'm happy to give you a ride. Yeah, okay, buddy. Unabashed and undaunted, he plowed on, and it worked. God damn it, she's blushing. How did that work? His tone seemed to ease Alice's mood. Oh, okay, it was the tone, not the words, I guess. She nodded calmly and took a seat on the luggage rack above the rear tire.
手を回すけど、私が触れても平気。
No.
ん？大丈夫だよ。体力があるのはさっき証明しただろ。
Yeah, okay. She wasn't referring to like her grip being like rough or anything. Sojiro, you are He's oblivious. Alice silently wrapped her arms around Sojiro. Once she held on tightly enough, he gripped the handlebars.
よかった。
He said quietly.
何が良かったの？
Sojiro turned to her, an ambiguous expression on his face, and then began pedaling vigorously. What? He let go of the brakes and the bicycle hurtled down Shiro Inuzuka's steep incline. What? Surprised by the sudden speed, Alice gasped and clutched Sojiro tighter. Uh-huh. She went to protest, but stopped when she saw the serious expression on Sojiro's face. Yeah... But, yeah, I mean, you kind of gotta go fast before Alice... Or, sorry, not Alice, before Aoko bleeds out. Instead, she decided to tighten her grip. Under the night sky, a young girl had put her faith in a young boy. Faster than a roller coaster, the bicycle hurtled toward Misaki Town Station. Around the station, there was no sight of cars or people. While the town slept under its snowy blanket, two people were racing like the wind. The boy spoke.
本当によかった。二人乗りが思ったより簡単で。
That's good, it's good. But he was alone in his relief. She's like, we're gonna die. It was their first bicycle ride together, and they spent it speeding down an empty highway. The boy's words were lost to the howling wind, fortunately. Yeah, I guess. In spite of the late hour, there were still lights on in the church. Originally, the only light at this time of night came from the entrance to the sleepless hospital, ever vigilant and ready to receive patients. However, this was a quiet town with little nightlife. The hospital saw perhaps one emergency patient per night, however, and it was not equipped to handle tonight's sole patient. It was a little before 1 o'clock in the morning. Leaving the bicycle outside, the two headed into the church. With its snow-covered roof, the church looked like it was wearing a white hat that lit up the darkness. In the entrance stood a tall shadow.
クオンジさん。
Oh. I think this is our first time getting to see him, I think. Because we only met the nun before. I'm pretty sure. Huh. The man's voice was placid. Dressed in a long coat, he had been waiting for Alice.
エイリ神父、青子は？
ユイカが見ています。私が駆けつけた時には手遅れでした。
I'm guessing the birds.
青崎の家に伝令を願いたいのですが。
Her family's the one that did this. But I guess you mean her parents and... No, the grandfather's dead, right? Never mind. Is your grandfather dead at this point? I forget. But...
青子はそれを望まないわ。それに、あちらも今は城に囚われているそうです。今夜の相手は、真っ先に青子の祖父の動きを封じたようですから。
When did that happen? The parents and grandfather were... Okay, so the grandfather's alive, but... What? Uh-huh? When was that supposed to have happened? Okay. The two exchanged pleasantries. Sojiro did not move from the foot of the stairs.
おや、そちらは。
No one. Though the father seemed calm, his words had an edge to them. As if to protect Sojiro from his gaze, Alice stepped between them.
彼は青子の使い魔。契約はまだなされていないけれど。
Okay, Sojiro, don't be dense, buddy. She's covering your ass. Okay?
使い魔ってアリス。
Shut up! Sojiro was about to complain, but Alice shot him a fiery glare. If you don't want to die, just... That all but said, just shut up and play along.
そうですか。そのような申告はありませんでしたが、届けが遅れたのは不問としましょう。
Yeah, even the church will, play by the association's rules and get rid of outsiders, so to speak.
外部の魔術師と交戦中でしたからね。あなたたちはその撃退を最優先にした。
Something tells
という
me
ことで。
Something tells me the father doesn't buy it. he knows Sojiro ain't no familiar. Alice nodded in thanks.
では通ります。彼の同行を許可しなさい。
ご自由に。私はこれより朝廷に向かいます。管理者が変わるのなら、両教会への資料を用意しなければいけませんので。
Who said they were giving up?
ああ、留守中はリツカに任せてありますから、必要なものがあれば彼女に。
As if passing the baton, Father Airi exited the church. Sojiro took 2 full steps back to give him a wide berth. Yeah, the father knows he ain't no familiar. He's like, right. The priest had a dignified air about him. To put it bluntly, he was strikingly beautiful? Okay. Straight nose, glistening lips. Okay. Not a single imperfection on his mildly effeminate face. Okay. But that only went as far as his appearance. His manner lacked any hint of softness or grace. Just by looking at him, you could tell he was dependable, like tempered steel, despite being somewhat unapproachable. The priest disappeared silently into the night, the darkness of his coat overpowering the moonlight. In awe, Sojiro watched him leave.
なんか仙人みたいな人だな。
Yeah. In his own way, Sojiro was expressing affection. For some reason, Father Airi's distant tone made him feel nostalgic. Alice gave Sojiro a deathly stare.
気を許さないで。彼は教会の人間よ。
Yeah, Sojiro doesn't really know what that means yet.
私たちを監視する側だけど、今回は彼の手を借りるしかなかっただけ。許されるなら、真っ先に消えてほしい人間だから。
Yeah. Her curse ringing in the air, Alice placed her hand on the doors to the chapel. They were twice her height, and who knows how heavy. It didn't look like she could open them anytime soon. Sojiro climbed the stairs 3 at a time and helped Alice push the towering doors inward. She probably had it. The dim light of the chapel brought with it the familiar scent of burning oil. The ecclesiastical interior was breathtaking. Okay. The tall ceiling, the stained glass windows on every wall. It all felt intended to illustrate the presence of the Holy Spirit within those chambers. Like the foyer in the Konji estate, there was not a single heater. The bitter cold made the chapel feel more severe.
あっちゃん、こっちよ。
Okay. Wait, is it? Wait. The gentle voice echoed through the chapel, incongruous to its surroundings. Isn't that the lady who helped Sojiro, clean the windows? It was the voice of a woman.
リツカさん、奥。
Alice made her way past the rows of pews toward the front altar. Sojiro closed the large doors and hurried after her. It
早かった
is.
わね。これから迎えに行こうと思ったのに。使える足があったから。後ろの彼。
Eh?
足って、あれ？あなた。
Yeah, he's pretty tough, pretty strong. Sojiro showed himself, surprising the woman. They stared intently at each other, wondering what the other was doing here.
知り合い？
Yeah, something like that.
ああ、うん。まずいことに知り合い。宗十郎さん、引っ越したって話だけど、もしかしてあっちゃんのところに下宿してるの？
Yeah, something like that. Sojiro nodded. Alice turned visibly sour at this unexpected development.
どういうこと？しずきくん、リツカさんとはどういう関係？
It's a kind of long story, I guess.
関係って、そうね。お魚屋さんでしょっちゅう割引してもらったり、
Uh-huh.
荷物持ちを頼んでみたり、たまにお茶飲んだりする主婦の友みたいな。
Uh-huh.
意味がわかりません。リツカさん結婚していないでしょ。
Well, she could be. Needless to say, Sojiro is also not a housewife's best friend, and all that suggested, but there were more urgent matters at hand. Yeah, I feel like that kind of implies... Never mind. Yeah, never mind.
うわ、そこを突っ込むのか。あっちゃん、私にだけは一切妥協がないのはどうかと思うの。
Yeah, no, she's pretty sharp.
リツカさんの場合、どこまで本気かわからないから。おかしなところは全部追求しておかないといけないだけよ。
I mean, yeah.
あら素敵。仲のいい姉妹みたいね、私たち。
Sure.
じゃあ、その信頼に応えて本当のこと言うと、彼とは町内会の顔見知りよ。スパイ行為とかそういうんじゃないし、そもそもそんな器用な人じゃないでしょ、宗十郎さんは。
Wait, what? Am I thinking of someone else? I could have sworn the first time they met was when she happened along and helped him clean the church windows. Like, in like 1.5 or whatever it was. Unless they met each other again at the neighborhood association afterward? Maybe?
本当？
Yeah. Alice stared straight at Sojiro. To let him know she was mad at him for hiding this from her. We didn't know you knew her!
本当だ。魚屋でバイトしてる時に知り合った人だ。前に親切にしてもらったんで、お礼にイワシを一匹サービスしたら、それ以来ごひいきに。
Okay. Alice is like, huh?
そうそう。商店街で買い物してれば、嫌でも宗十郎さんとは顔見知りになるわ。あっちゃんも怒るぐらいなら買い物に来ればいいのに。密かな商店街のアイドルです、彼。
The secret stud. Wait, what do you mean by that?
アイドルとは人気者という意味で、値切りやすいかもって意味じゃないような。
Okay, so you don't haggle, I guess. His apparent popularity would have to be questioned another time. You know, yeah, she's not a housewife, but I can kind of see that, right? Like the sort of, kind, aloof mountain boy who, you know, I can see how, like, the housewives just drop downtown, you know, I can see that. I can see him being popular. His apparent popularity has to be questioned all the time. Collecting herself, Alice focused on the door in the recesses of the church.
リツカさんの事情は知りませんが、彼は青子の連れです。その他に説明はいりますか？
ああ、やっぱりそういうことなのね。ま、言いたいことはいろいろあるけど、今はそれどころじゃないし。ええ、了解したわ。他ならぬあっちゃんの頼みだし、特殊な例だけど、彼はこちらで保護しましょう。
Thanks. Alice nodded and began walking to the door.
アリス。
ダメよ、宗十郎さん。
As Sojiro was about to follow Alice, Ritsuka stepped in his way.
あなたは言ってはいけません。彼女たちに任せなさい。
Okay. She asserted bluntly. Meanwhile, Alice had reached the door and entered further into the chapel.
言ってはいけないって。どうして？
Well, Aoko's probably not in a good shape, so probably shouldn't see her that way anyway.
あなたのためよ。青子の容体は普通の人が見ていいものじゃない。気分を悪くするだけ。
You know, I don't know if Sojiro really qualifies as a normal person anymore. You know...
それとも、嫌な思いをしてもいいくらい、青子が心配なのかしら？
Sojiro wasn't able to give an immediate answer. It had finally hit him just how bad a state Aoko must be in. Based on Alice's condition when he found her, he intuited that Aoko's injuries might be even worse. He tried to imagine her expression in that state, but could not.
青崎相手に心配なんかしません。
Literally, he had never been worried about her before. Not truly.
でも、会いに行くのね。
I mean, you probably could.
はい。
I mean, okay, realistically speaking, you probably could stop him. With force. He answered her reflexively. Mitsuka sighed at the boy's naivete, but nonetheless stepped aside.
どうぞ、行ってらっしゃい。アリスさんが使ったドアから入って4番目の部屋よ。今一番取り込んでる頃だから、ゆいちゃんの邪魔だけはしないように。
Sojiro thanked her and went after Alice, leaving Ritsuka Suse, the self-proclaimed everybody's friendly neighbor, alone.
さて、ゆいかあたりなら止めるんでしょうけど、ま、私は宗十郎さんの味方だし、傷つく男の子とか大好物だし。
Wait, does she know more about what happened to him? Okay.
少々スパルタと自覚しておりますが、これも親切な姉心と思って、宗十郎さんには後悔していただきましょう。
Who are you talking to, by the way? It's like she's looking straight at us and then saying that out loud. So, okay. She spoke with force, but her words echoed aimlessly around the chapel. With a sigh, she shrugged her shoulders and made the sign of the cross in a rather unpious manner. The sound of Sojiro's footsteps grew fainter. His lack of hesitation had left a pain in her heart. And not because he didn't look back at her, but because he was choosing to ignore the primal fear inside him. An elderly man once said, an animal's death and a human's are two different things. You may think they're the same, but they differ to their core. Our heads have known the difference since the dawn of man. An animal's corpse, be it a pig's or a deer's, is different. If the swing of an axe or a machete is violent, then so must a human corpse be. Therefore, before you see one with your own eyes, you should at least understand it with your ears. Uh-huh. Listen closely, Sojiro. When a person dies, blood flows like a crimson river. It's too much to bear. Perhaps because he was not used to the stone path beneath his feet, Sojiro's mind wandered back to the words he'd heard as a child. Oh boy. Yeah, this does not look good. The there's a red tint to everything. The instant he opened the door, there was a palpable change in the air. The room was small, with only a simple bed and a small wooden dresser. And there on the bed, that's interesting. How they did that. Like it's all, you know, it's obviously Aoko, but because of, I guess, whatever state she's in, it's so bad that like he barely recognizes her as Aoko. I guess that's how I'm interpreting there being the underscores rather than her name. Tending to her was the woman he'd just seen in the chapel, Mitsuka. No, she only looked a lot like her. Are they sisters? Like literally, like blood sisters? Not, because nuns are called sister. You know, mind. Her eyes were closed and her garments covered in blood. He had met her maybe once before. Yuika Suse, a nun at the church. She was doing something to Yuika held a pair of scissors and some thread. Her hands moved delicately yet quickly, as though playing an organ. I mean, she's playing some organs. That's not wrong. Her movements were precise, as if flawlessly reading sheet music. One by one, the supply of bandages diminished. Bandages recently applied to the wounds were quickly replaced with fresh ones. Gauze was placed everywhere to try and cope with the amount of blood. Once white cloth was now dyed red and discarded. The dressings scattered around the floor resembled roses. In a wilted rose garden, the nun played her organ. The scene looked unlike any reality Sojiro knew. It was clear why the air had changed. There was a savage odor in the room. Even though he was experiencing it for the first time, he knew what it was. The smell burned his lungs. He couldn't bring himself to look at the bed. Fighting his feelings, his eyes refused to move there. He noticed Alice next to the bed. Ever expressionless, she looked like a statue next to a grave. Except she was trembling ever so slightly. It could have been from fear, anxiety, rage, or a combination of the three. Before her lay a life on the verge of death. But whose life? It was difficult to tell with only a glance. Some sort of puppet covered in bandages, perhaps. No. Her hair should be beautiful, but it fell flat, disheveled. Despite her short breaths, her chest convulsed. Up, down, up, down. Facetious though the thought was, Sojiro recalled the rodeo machine on the roof of the department store. Ah. The painkillers and anesthesia could not have been working. New bandages were soaked crimson in seconds. Her fingernails bit into the sheets. Her face twisted in agony. Anesthesia would not be enough, so if she was still alive, she must be conscious too. It worried him that no one seemed concerned about this. In this state, she would surely lose her mind before her life. In short, the boy never wanted to see anything like this ever again. Bed sheets should be white, not red. With every blink, the color deepened. Sojiro was finally forced to accept that the bleeding mess in the center of it was her. He felt the blood surge in his veins. The squeaking of the bed, the snip of the scissors, the gasps of agony. It all faded. All he could hear was his own pounding heartbeat. The smell of the blood she choked up sent a wave of nausea through him. His knees abandoned him. And it was perfectly understandable. His brain had to shut his consciousness off to protect itself. The mind could only take so much reality. He would give anything to never see something like that again.
そうか。青子ちゃんは全部わかっているんだね。
Is Aoko going to her happy place to take her mind off the pain?
自分だけのことじゃなくて、この後に起きることも、何が残って何が残らないのかも、全部まっすぐに受け止めている。それでも自分であり続けられるということは、とても強いことなんだよ。
And on she went. I kind of liked her smile, but she just had to go and say the one thing I wish she hadn't. The last day of middle school seemed so long ago. At the ephemeral cherry blossom petals danced around, or as the ephemeral cherry blossom petals danced around, my little dream was crushed. I'd never really considered myself strong. At least until I began remembering those words from time to time.
青崎は分かってると思ってた。いや、きっと分かってるんだな。だから、そこが強いんだろうね。
And lately, an idiot who said things like that had appeared in my life. I knew I always judged people more harshly than those around me, but to have someone I'd only known for a few days point that out was like a stab in the chest. Not only that, the words sounded so similar. They made me so angry I couldn't see straight. Only him and one other person have ever said anything like that to me. Then again, I suppose my sister said the same without actually saying it. You're different from us. But me being me, I took it as a curse rather than a compliment. My actions, my choices, my morals, all the good and bad I've done. When all's said and done, am I really any better than everyone else? Of course I am. I'll never sacrifice myself for those around me. They just had to call me strong, true to myself, in spite of how alone, stubborn, and ridiculous I can be. Or I know I can be. When I was younger, it only confused me. I mean, I don't know any other way. I am who I am. The frustrating fact is, I simply don't have the courage to give up. So why? Why do I get treated special for doing what comes naturally? I don't know. The sunlight stirred her. Maybe it was the pain from having her whole body held together by arcane threads. But Aoko felt like she'd had a silly dream. At least you lived. There's that. She gulped air through her painful, parched throat. Gray rays of sunlight shone through a small window, bringing her back to reality.
うわ、体中かゆ。
Yeah, I mean, yeah, when you're covered in bandages, that happens. Unable to bear it, Aoko attempted to roll over. Except she could only move her right arm. She tried lifting her arm, but couldn't feel anything past her elbow. Once she stopped concentrating on her bandaged arm, it fell to the bed like a stone.
さて。
Yeah. Aoko took in her surroundings, moving only her eyes. Evidently, she'd been asleep in this bed. Unable to feel certain parts of her body, she felt like a robot. The room was tiny and undecorated. It was like an apartment without a tenant. Judging by the good repair, she guessed that she was in Ida Church. Outside, it seemed closer to noon than morning. Clouds filled the sky as usual, dulling the sun's rays. Idly, she thought that it could be enough to melt the snow outside. And then finally she noticed the figure of a girl. Next to her bed, Alice Kronji was sitting in a chair unmoving.
おはよう、アリス。
She called out to her, all too casually. It was more difficult to talk than she thought. Alice was her typical stoic self. Although Aoko did not notice a glimpse of concern in her eyes.
寝てないんでしょ。
Or did
肌が荒れ
notice.
てる。
Wait, did she say did or didn't? Did notice. I thought, okay. I read it as did not notice at first. Okay.
努力はしたわ。けど、瞳子さんに飲まされたものが解毒されるまで眠れそうにないの。
Hey, look at that. Her and Sojiro are matching with the bandages around the neck. Although he doesn't have the bandages anymore, just the collar, but still.
半端な痛みは、こういう時に生ぬるいわね。
Alice really just say a fart in a windstorm. Okay. Alice's uncharacteristically vulgar comment helped Aoko feel a little more like her usual self. Yeah. She felt reassured having a comrade in arms by her side instead of a concerned neighbor.
そう。アリスもやられたの。
Yeah.
状況は大体予想してるけど、一応細部を聞かせてくれない？
Aoko remained horizontal as she spoke with a cool tone. Despite Aoko's condition, Alice granted her request. After all, they had known each other for 2 years. Alice knew exactly the kind of anesthesia Aoko Awazaki needed right now. Alice Kronji's battle with Awazaki Toko ended in the former's victory. No? The Thames Troll was a special familiar even among fairy tale monsters. Well, I guess, in terms of like the Battle of Magi, I guess Alice won. It's only because she had a werewolf that... But I guess technically speaking, the werewolf is the one that won, I guess. But, while lacking the incredible reality warping abilities of Flat Snark, its sheer mass, durability, and strength were second to none. Toko's rune magecraft was rendered completely ineffective by its stone armor. In all fairness to Toko, most mages wouldn't stand a chance against a bridge giant. The reason lay in the mystic's body. As a general law of magecraft, a mystic will lose to a stronger, older mystic. The history of the bridge giant dated back well over 1,000 years. Its origins could be traced to the 1st century when Britannia was conquered by the Romans. Conversely, despite having roots dating back to the Age of Gods, runes had unfortunately been lost to time. Rune magecraft was little more than an attempt to revive and use dead art. However, monsters from fairy tales, like the troll, were different. They lived on in the hands of Alice Konji. The magical world was vast, but one could probably count on one hand the number of magecraft that still functioned after being chanted into existence a millennia ago, as Alice's ploys did. In contrast, Toko the rune user was only about 2 decades old. Carving a rune took only a moment. There was no way a quick spell could defeat the personification of London Bridge in Alice's homeland. That being said, a beast had appeared that surpassed even those from fairy tales. Beowulf, the Golden Beast. It seemed absurd to compare a small and relatively powerless wolf to a towering stone giant. The Thames Troll's attacks were earthquaking. A direct hit from its 50-ton strikes would smash anything to paste, while a glancing blow would still create mincemeat. And yet, the beast had attacked head-on and torn right through it. The wolf's fur bristled, and the creature metamorphosed like liquid. It was a breathtaking display. It's so washed out, I can tell what it is, but it's very washed out on like the right side. The wolf howled at the moon as if in joy, and streaked forth like a bolt of golden light. In an instant, the duel was decided. The radiant spear of a wolf flew straight through the giant's chest and sank its teeth into its heart. The troll exploded. Chunks of stony muscle rained down. Luminous fur scattered in the wind. Two mystics dispersed without a trace, and returned from whence they came. The curtain fell on a battle straight out of mythology. There among the rubble of the fairy tale monster was the golden wolf standing like a flame. What came after could barely be described as a battle. It was more like the slaughter of defeated pawns. The wolf leapt on Alice, disemboweling her with ease. Its claws cut through the protective wards on Alice's coat like a hot knife through butter. The golden wolf. This wolf, which understood human speech, could only be the magical creature known as the werewolf. Werewolves were the forest people of Western Europe, with origins far more ancient than the fabricated vampire legends of the continent. Oh. So would this... That makes me wonder, would this werewolf beat Arkwood then? Probably not, right? Because it's talking about the fabricated vampires, not the real ones. Or... I don't know. Huh. However, none were known to have golden coats. It was said that the most elite werewolf bloodlines boasted silver fur. Silver werewolves were pack leaders, and werewolves of that caliber were considered phantasmal, rather than merely magical creatures. But a golden werewolf was superior even to that, and so transcended human knowledge. Alice Konji's ploys were among the ultimate mystics who have been created by humankind. Therefore, the golden wolf could only have been a mystic born of the planet. When a celestial body has been active for millions, even billions of years, occasionally a miraculous droplet of creation spills over into our current world. This mystic had to be over 3,000 years old. A human mage. No, Any mage living in the current magical paradigm would be helpless against the Golden Wolf. Not even in theory would they stand a chance of defeating it. Which meant that this werewolf was Aoko and Alice's worst nightmare. Yeah? Yeah, no, they were pretty fucked.
アリスがお手上げの相手だものね。私がどうにかできるはずもなかったわけだ。
Yeah, probably not.
でも、要は魔術でなければいいのよね。
Alright, Sojiro, you're up!
テムズの動力は魔力だけど、テムズのパンチは純粋な衝撃でしょ。当たりさえすればぺしゃんこじゃないの？
Maybe?
残念だけど、あれ基本は狼の姿なだけで状況によって形を変えるわ。テムズの腕を受け止めた時は大猿みたいになっていたし。
Okay, so he's a werewolf that can turn into an ape.
機関銃やロケットで狙ってもかわされるか体の硬い生き物に変化して防ぐんじゃないかしら。
That's pretty OP.
地球上の生き物なら何にでも変われるってことか。でもまあ質量までは無理かな。
I don't know.
基本は2メートル台の生物のいいとこ取りってあたりで勘弁してほしいよね。
Wait, was he that big?
ねえ、すごく関係ないけど、深海の生き物に変わられたらちょっと怖いと思わない？
Yeah, turn into an octopus. Turn us into a hentai real quick. I'm sorry. Aoko narrowed her eyes as she bemoaned this creature's existence. The conversation appeared to have revived her fighting spirit. Once again, her eyes were focused and her thoughts clear. Aoko was back to her usual self.
で、その後はアリスうまく逃げられたの？
Well, it depends on what you classify as escape.
いいえ、私もあの狼にやられたわ。
Uh-huh. Alice explained how the wolf had pinned her to the ground. Incidentally, she kept the part about Sojiro rather short. Alice herself is not entirely sure why she felt it necessary to leave most of that information out.
アリスが相手をした後、休む間もなく私のところに来たわけか。
Yeah.
初めから昨日で決着をつけるつもりだったんだ、兄貴。
Something like that.
姉妹かな。ここぞって時のタイミングは一緒だったの忘れてた。切り札は見せたからには敵を殲滅しなくちゃいけない。姉貴は視点を残り2つにしておいて、自分の正体を告げてこっちの戦力を分けさせた。
Yeah, pretty smart strategy, I guess.
その時点で奥の手を投入してくることは覚悟してたけど、まさか人狼なんて際物とはね。
Yeah, it's just unlucky. Aoko let out a heavy sigh. Alice nodded slightly in agreement.
それはそれとして、宗十郎がアリスを助けに行くなんてね。感謝しなくちゃいけないんだろうけど、バカな真似してくれたわ。
Well, if he didn't save Alice, Alice wouldn't have been able to send her birds to like take care of you until the church people got there, and so you'd probably be dead. Like, both of you would be dead if he didn't save Alice. And so it's like...
私が東子の立場なら、報復の可能性は一つ残らず排除する。私たちがどうにかなった後、猫の手首ひねるみたいに片付けられるわよ、あいつ。
Well, she did. Up until she said something to him about where Alice was, she didn't want to hurt him. I think she still doesn't want to hurt him, but she has to now.
しずきくんならこちらで保護してもらってるけど。
Aoko's eyes widened.
うわ、どういう風の吹き回し？
No.
アリスがあいつの世話を焼くなんて。
I mean, you know, why wouldn't she? He saved her life, right? You'll return the favor.
だって放っておいたら青子が怒ると思って。
Yeah, okay, Alice. Okay, sure. Right. Alice responded with her eyes closed, so that way no emotion could be picked out. Aoko frowned in silent indignation, as if she wanted to protest where Alice got that idea from.
まあいいけど、それじゃあ今ここにいるんだ、宗次郎。姿が見えないけどどうしたの？
Well, apparently he passed out, if I read that last line of his correctly. So, still unable to move her neck, she looked around as best she could.
彼なら気分を悪くして倒れたわ。今はエイリ神父の寝室を借りているけど。
Yeah. Aoko furrowed her brow and collapsed. Sure, he was under the church's protection, but had Toko set the wheels in motion for his death? No, not quite. Alice paused for a moment before carefully answering the question.
それが彼、あなたを見て嘔吐したの。
I mean, yeah, that much blood and gore, you know. She had decided to be blunt. Aoko was taken aback. For several seconds, dim sunlight leaked through the window. Once she had found her voice again, she muttered.
いいけど、ひどい侮辱よね、それって。
That was a lot of blood, Aoko. That was a lot of blood. Perhaps amused, or perhaps exhausted from staying up all night, Alice cracked a tiny giggle.
何よ、そんなにおかしい、アリス。
Oh.
さあ、どうかしらね。けど、しずきくんにも言い分はあるでしょう。今のあなた、とても見られたものじゃないわ。
Aoko appraised her physical state. She was dressed in a hospital gown. Bandages covered the majority of her body. Her right leg was in a plaster cast. Since she couldn't move her right arm, she brought her bandaged fingers up to her throat.
そっか、思い出した。あのガキ、まず私の首元に噛みついたんだっけ？
Yeah, apparently.
すごかったわよ、首が噛み砕かれるのって。ゴキンって音が頭の中に響いて、気持ち悪いったらなかったわ。
Well, okay, wait. If it like bit into and like snapped your neck, like how could you call the mansion and talk? How could you talk into the phone? What? Okay.
ち、あそこから好き勝手やられたもんだから、つい忘れてた。
I mean, yeah, probably not a pleasant memory. Aoko sounded upbeat, but the look in her eyes was anything but. She had been torn to pieces, but her life had been mercifully spared. At least she hadn't been dismembered. Yeah, there's that. She had been bitten, beaten, and her bones broken. Magic crests containing the Aozaki's secret arts decorated her body. Even if her spine was broken, as long as her body was alive, the crest would piece it back together? Wait. I thought she only had the one on her arm. How? Huh? Okay. That seems a little... like a writing mishap. Cause it was like earlier in the visual novel, it said she just had the one that like went down her arm. But now there's crests all over her body? That's... Okay. Despite the crest easing the pain a little, she's still hurt enough to want to kill that wolf 100 times over. Fair enough.
視点は全部壊された。これで三崎氏の霊脈はフリーってわけね。全容を把握してるのはうちらだけの特権だったけど、東子は昔から知ってる以上、解析の手間もいらないと。真剣な話、所有権の書き換えまで何時間かかると思う？
Few hours from now, maybe.
東子さんなら2日かからないでしょうね。
Oh, okay, that's more time than I thought we had. Okay.
支店の修復は土地そのものに任せるしかない。支店のプロテクトが治る頃にはこの町はもう彼女のものよ。
明日の夜明けとともに破産する我が身とはね。それでアリスの方はどうなの？まだいける？
I'm sure she has some fight in her. Probably.
思考魔術だけなら少しは。あとは小道具に頼ることになるでしょうね。
ああ、お話にならないか。
Yeah. Aoko went silent again, staring straight at the ceiling. Alice knew all too well what that look meant.
それでもやるんでしょ、青子は。
I mean, sure, well, we kinda got to, don't we?
まあね、私諦めるのってできないから。で、そういうアリスはどうなのよ。
私は一度自分のものになったものは
Like Sojiro?
決して人には渡さない。
Aoko muttered an agreement to Alice's terse response. Alice's intense attachment to her possessions was enough to make even Aoko shiver. Once something is mine, it stays mine. To take it a step further, betrayal was an unforgivable sin. This personal motto was further proof of her uncompromising nature.
オッケー、決まりね。
Huh?
じゃあ、悪いけどもう少し休ませて。今晩までには何とか動けるようにするから。
Good luck with that. If the nun who stitched her back together had heard that, she would have fainted. Aoko could barely even eat in her current condition. Even so, Alice nodded and stood up. As Aoko's partner, she knew that once her mind was made up, she had to trust her. Silently, the girl in black began to take her leave. Huh. She stopped in front of the door, her hand to her mouth.
アリス？
What? Aoko was curious, suspecting that Alice had something silly to say again. Quite the contrary. Instead of blushing, Alice furrowed her brow, like she was thinking over a difficult riddle.
アリス？
Aoko called out, but Alice remained with her back to her roommate.
なんで間に合ったのかしら。
That's a good question. She spoke as if the words had accidentally burst out from her thoughts. Alice's question was about something Aoko could not possibly have guessed.
あの時もそう。私たち始発で帰ってきたのに。
She carried on mumbling at the door. Okay, what? Okay. Unable to find an answer, Alice gloomily put her hand on the doorknob.
言いたくないなら別にいいけど。何がどうしたっていうのよ、アリス。
Alice didn't respond. She opened the door to leave the room and left a few words hanging in the air.
どうでもいいことだけど、
Uh-huh.
ゆいかさんにはしずきくんは見えなかったそうよ、青子。
Okay. The door closed with a thud.
そりゃまた珍しい。
As in, like, the whatever bounded fields around the church. No, because why would the nun? Because the nuns shouldn't be able to do bounded, like, any magic stuff, right? Well, I mean, that's Kotomine, but I don't know if that I think he was a exception, but I don't know. Aoko mumbled to herself from her bed, seeming slightly happier. Blind since birth, Yuika Suse. Oh, okay, I see. Yuika Suse saw the world through her other senses. She was especially sensitive to enemies, or those who bore ill will, and typically viewed almost everyone as a threat. Presumably because that was the easiest thing to pick up on. So when she said she couldn't see Sojiro, that meant he was completely harmless. Okay. I mean that makes sense. And then that harmless individual decided to pay the small sick room a visit. Sojiro looked like a stiff breeze could knock him over. It made Aoko wonder who the real patient was.
何しに来たのあんた。
Rude? He probably just came to see how you are. Though Aoko could barely move, she was still able to give him the cold shoulder. His expression gone, Sojiro grunted something or other, before beginning to speak more coherently.
アリスが客間で眠ったから礼拝堂にいたんだけど、人が集まりだしたんで、こっちに逃げてきた。
Reasonable?
あ、礼拝の時間か。クリスマスだってのによくやるわ。
It was indeed Christmas, but regular mass was on Christmas Eve. The ones gathering in the chapel must have been truly devout followers. Tourists were rare in Misaki after all. So much so that almost no one visited the area this time of year. The worshippers must have been locals.
それで別にどうってことないでしょ。探せば顔見知りもいるんじゃない？
But then he'd probably get questioned as to why he's here, and it'd be a whole thing. Aoko was as distant as ever. She clearly hadn't forgotten the fact he had vomited when he saw her, and a hint of spite leaked into her voice. Then again...
いや、ちょうどいい機会だから、いろいろと聞きたくなって。少し話をしていいかな。
Okay. Since Aoko was always in a bad mood, Sojiro did not pick up on anything out of the ordinary. She wanted to tell him to go drink some water because he looked ready to collapse, but he didn't seem aware of his own condition. And to be fair to him, Alice did say Aoko was in bad shape. Given how unaccustomed to blood Sojiro was, it was no wonder he had fainted.
ああ、そうか。
Oh, we realized. So someone said on one of the episodes where I was like, why didn't there boundary field at the start of the game pick up on Sojiro? And they said the reason was a lot simpler than I was thinking. Is it literally just because he is completely like neutral and harmless? Like the Yuika thing made me got me thinking about that. Is that really it? Is like because he had he was zero threat and just completely neutral that it just didn't pick him up as anything? Is that really all it was? That'd be interesting.
話なんてまだ無理だな。すまない。出直してくる。
Sojiro seemed to have misunderstood Aoko being deep in thought as not having enough stamina to speak. Naturally, this didn't sit well with Aoko.
待ちなさいよ。話だけなら別に構わないわ。やる気持て余してるし、暇つぶしがてらに相手してあげるわよ。ま、退屈しのぎにしてはちょっとグレード下がるけど、この際贅沢言ってられないし。
Why you gotta be so rude? Sojiro sensed this was going to be rough, but took a seat on the chair next to the bed.
で、何が聞きたいの？
Aoko spoke energetically in an attempt to distract from her weakened appearance. Naturally, she knew she was fooling no one.
やっぱり青崎は強いな。安心した。
I mean, okay might be a bit of an overstatement, Sojiro said, nodding in admiration. Aoko shot him an unimpressed look in response to the unwanted praise. Yeah.
あんたってほんと間が悪いわ。
Yeah, it's a talent.
いいわよ、別に。私の夢の話だから、そっちが気に病むことは。
Well, yeah, I mean, kinda is. A little bit. She glowered, remembering. Come to think of it, almost everyone in her dream was here in the church, turning her dour expression into an irritated one.
やめやめ、こんなつまんない話。聞きたいことがあるなら手っ取り早く済ませちゃってよ、宗次郎。
よかった。じゃあ、まず今の状況を聞かせてくれないか。
Well, what the hell going on?
トウコさんの話じゃ、俺も無関係じゃないそうだし。
Yeah. Sojiro spoke calmly, making Aoko wonder if he really understood the gravity of his situation. He was Toko's enemy now. He was defenseless and needed protection. Neither Aoko nor Alice could help him, and the church could withdraw their sanctuary at any moment. He had picked a side, and that had turned him from innocent bystander into target. The answer he sought was as simple as that. He knew the facts. He wasn't a mage and was therefore powerless.
まあ、それでもアリスは助けられたわけだし。
Yeah. Aoko did owe him for that. To say thanks, she decided to at least give him the whole story up until now.
よし、今までの経緯も含めて軽く説明してみましょうか。私も何か得るものがあるかもしれないし。
Maybe. Aoko composed herself before beginning her explanation. The battle began at the end of November. A lot had happened since then, including meeting Sojiro.
事の起こりは1ヶ月前。三崎市に貼られた結界の端っこが何者かに消されたのが発端だった。私が跡継ぎになってから5度目の三崎市を狙う敵の登場ってわけ。
Huh. What do you mean the fifth time? Had Toko been like scouting it out, like prodding the defenses before that? I guess, because they said things were happening before the start of the game, so I guess. Okay, okay, that makes sense.
今回の敵は私たちとは直接戦わず、まず土地を奪うところから始めたわ。
Or she's just saying that there had been like other upstart mages who had tried to take over the land. Maybe that's it.
今までのやつは私たちを半人前と舐めていたから、
Oh, okay.
大抵は真正面から仕掛けてきて、勝手にアリスの猟犬の餌食になったんだけど、まあそれはどうでもいいとして。町の結界には2種類あって、侵入者を見つけるものと土地の力を有効利用するものがあるの。敵が壊したのは土地の結界の方で、これが全部壊されると、私やアリスは土地の所有権を失ってしまう。土地のないはぐれ魔術師と同じになっちゃうのよ。もちろんそうならないように侵入者をあぶり出すための結界があるんだけど、こっちには何の反応もなかった。
Because Toko's an Awazaki, I guess?
ま、当然よね。今回の敵は私の姉貴青崎塔子その人だったんだから。青崎の結界は同族である姉貴を敵とみなさなかった。
Yeah, maybe you should have had Alice set up the bounded field then. And just had it set to where you weren't recognized as an enemy. But anyone else was.
あるいは姉貴は結界の抜け道、構造の資格をついたのかもしれない。もともとうちの後継者はあの人だし、それぐらいの知識はあったでしょう。そうして姉貴は私たちに見つかることなく好き勝手に結界の視点を壊し始めた。時間をかけてゆっくり壊していったのは外からやってきた部外者を演じていたからでしょうね。さすがに連続して壊されればこっちも身内の犯行だと疑うし、うち親戚である浅木家とは仲悪いままだしさ。
Why the Asagi? Why do I know that name? Asagi. Is that from Kara no Kyokai? Hang on. I recognize that name. Asagi Kara no Kyokai. The first thing that popped up was Fujino Asagami, not Asagi. Maybe I'm just reading too much into it, I don't know. But I feel like I recognize that name. I don't know.
姉貴の芝居に騙された私たちが間抜けなんだけど、セオリーとして結界崩しは長丁場になるものなの。管理地の結界は強固に作られているからね。普通は半年単位での攻防になる。攻める側はまず結界を形取る視点が何個あるか、それがどの5大要素でくくられているか、退去の正しい順序はどれか、それらを地道に解き明かしていく。
Damn, there's even an order to them? Wait, but you said she could have attacked either of the last two. So did the last two not matter? In what order?
もちろん、管理地の魔術師たちの目を盗みながら。
Or is she just... Or is that another, like, oversight in the writing?
対して、守る側は侵入者がいることに気づくから、悪さをされる前に敵の拠点を見つけ出して外敵を排除する。こんな感じで結界崩しは長期戦、あるいは前哨戦になるものなの。大抵は攻める側が視点を壊すぞとアピールして土地の持ち主を翻弄疲弊させてから魔術師同士の直接対決で決着がつくわ。なんで結界を全部壊す必要はないのよ。管理地の持ち主を始末した方が早いし、その後は術式さえ解読しちゃえば土地を結界ごと横取りできる。わざわざ壊して作り直すより昔からある結界の方が土地に馴染んでいて強力だしで一石二鳥でしょ。
Makes sense. That was how Aoko and Alice were duped. They never thought the enemy would waste the time and effort needed to break all sigils.
だから私とアリスはとりあえず受けに回った。視点を探すために街を調査している敵を待ち伏せてこれを片っ端から倒そうって。でもそのうちの一つがケチのつき始めだった。三崎町の公園で山張って待ち受けていた時、どうでもいい第三者が覗き見してやがったのよ。
Well, okay, that's not really our fault, okay? We were just walking home from work. Indeed. It was the ultimate taboo in the world of magecraft. The existence of mages must never be revealed to outsiders.
その後のことはわかるでしょ。
Yeah.
私は敵との小競り合いをアリスに任せて、それより重要な目撃者狩りに専念せざるを得なくなった。言っとくけど、これはあんたのことだからね。そこで我関せずみたいな顔しないと思う。
He wasn't gonna do that, right? He wasn't gonna give no soppy look. No sooner had Aoko said that, Sojiro gave her that exact look. Clearly he had been listening, but not necessarily understanding.
ま、いいけどね。宗十郎がそんなだから秘密は漏れなかったんだし。
Yeah, you could have just left him alone and it would have been fine.
で、あんたっていう目撃者を消そうとした私の単独行動は 敵にしても都合のいいものだった。
Yeah.
強敵であるアリスがいないんだから、敵はこれを機会に私を始末しようと特注品の人形を差し向けたと思っていたけど、あれはただの嫌がらせね、間違いなく。そうでなきゃ私そっくりの人形なんて派遣するかっての。
Yeah, good question. Sojiro nodded, thinking back to the Aoko replica.
あれのことは忘れてちょうだい。
Oh, okay.
まあそこから先はあんたもうすうす知ってるでしょ。
Can we?
私とアリスは敵との戦いに専念することになって、毎日のように操作の手を空振って決戦の夜を迎えて、今はこうしてる。大体の経緯はこんなところよ。
She stared down at her body, as if recalling what had happened would help her accept her current state. Under the sheet, magical energy steadily flowed through her partially bandaged body.
青崎、これまでの君たちの話は分かった。けど肝心の今の状況はどうなっているんだ。
She got a beat down? Sojiro's specific concern was the reason Aoko is lying there. More than anything, he wanted to know what had happened to her the night before.
バカね。状況も何も完全に私たちの負けじゃない。
Judging by her tone, she would have raised both hands sarcastically in celebration if she could.
負けた？
Yeah?
そう、事実は正しく受け止めなくっちゃね。5つの視点が全部壊された時点で勝負はついたの。管理地の所有権は宙ぶらりで、明日にはトーコの手に渡るでしょう。で、それを阻止したいこっちは、私もアリスもこのありさま。
Well, I mean, Alice was in pretty rough shape too, but she didn't have it nearly as bad as you did.
もう立場は逆転したから、これから私たちは挑戦者。つまり、はぐれ魔術師ってことよ。
Which meant that Aoko, Alice, and Sojiro only had a few more days with which to utilize the church's services. Aida Church was not only an arm of the Mages Association, but also a branch of the Holy Church that monitored heresy. Aoko and Alice were owners of Misaki City's spiritual lands, but they belonged to neither of these organizations. The only reason the church helped them at all was because they were the land's administrators. Once those rights were lost, the church would have no reason to provide any further aid.
エイリ神父はコウモリだから私を助けてくれたけど、ユイカさんは教会の代行者だから、傷が塞がったなら明日にでも出て行けって言ってくる。教会にとっちゃ魔術師なんてもともと排除すべき商売敵だからね。バカリツカはま、泣きつけば力にはなってくれるでしょうけど。
Well, yeah, maybe. Sojiro understood little of what Aoko was talking about.
そうじゃなくて、青崎。昨日の夜、何があったんだ？
Yeah, okay. She's obviously avoiding that for a reason, buddy. Sojiro pressed her, and Aoko really wished he hadn't.
見てわからない。惨敗なんてものじゃないわ。喉に食いつかれる。体中好き放題噛まれまくる。挙句に右のマモなんてなくなってたそうよ。ま、アリスのチョコレートのおかげで出血死を免れたけど。
She knocked on the cast around her leg. Aoko spoke casually, but was trying to hide how much she wanted revenge for being humiliated. In contrast, Sojiro felt empty. The little color he had in his face began to fade. Was he repulsed by the terrible situation, or were his instincts telling him to flee? I don't know. Regardless, he appeared very human. Yeah.
なんでそこで固まる？あ、そっか。私を見て吐き出しちゃうぐらいナイーブなんだっけ、宗十郎ってば。大丈夫よ、今はくっついてるから。ゆいかさんは治療専門だし、私だってただやられてたわけじゃないし。復元は青崎の得意分野だから、あれくらい問題ないわ。
Conveniently. Conveniently, regeneration is a specialty of the Aozaki mages, right? She gave him a reassuring look, but his expression was unchanged. Aoko had expected him to worry, but this level of concern made it hard for even her to berate him. Feeling embarrassed, she started talking again.
けど姉貴ったら、どうやってあんなのを手なずけたんだろう。金の狼なんて伝説の中にしかいないと思ってた。
Apparently it was a deal, like a monetary deal, apparently, so... I don't know.
神代の神秘であるあいつには、千年クラスの魔術じゃないと太刀打ちできない。かといって、殴り合いでどうにかできる相手じゃないし。
As images of the night before entered Aoko's mind, she bit her lip in anguish.
金の狼。
Yeah? Conversely, the bizarre phrase snapped Sojiro out of his state of shock.
そう、黄金の人狼。金狼って言った方がいいのかな。狼男って言ってもわからないわよね。人間と狼のいいとこ取りみたいなやつと思えばいいわ。野獣というより魔獣の類よ。普通の人狼なら対抗手段はあるんだけど、トウコが連れてるのは黄金の毛並みをした怪物でさ。
Wait, was Sojiro's pause implying what I think it's implying? Because... Hang on. I'm pretty sure I still have the screenshot of... Hang on. Do I not have that screenshot still? No, I got rid of that wait. I might have the thumbnail I made of the screenshot though. Okay, it's very small. But hang on. It opened on the wrong monitor. Why? Wait. I can do this. Wait. Hang on. Where is that thumbnail at? Yeah, there's claw marks on his arm. If you look, right? Those are claw marks. And he has obviously has bandages around his neck, like Aoko said she got her neck like ripped out. Was that implying that like Sojiro's pause about like the golden wolf? Like, did that? Huh. I mean, I guess we'll see.
あれは原初の人狼の決闘で魔獣を通り越して幻獣の域に達している。聖域の相手にはそいつらを上回る神秘、積み重ねた時間とか魔術の奥義じゃないと無効化されるのよ。魔術は万能だけど、この年月の差だけは覆せない。ま、人間の魔術師にとっては天敵みたいな自然災害ね。
Her words indicated more admiration than hatred. The way she'd whispered about the wolf. Yeah? Strangely made sense to Sojiro.
何？
いや、要するに青崎たちじゃかなわない相手なんだな。なん てひどいやつだ。アリスはお腹が裂かれてた。青崎は傷ついてないところはないぐらいだ。子供なのに。いや、子供だから加減がないのか。
Wait, 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 wait. Wait, 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 wait. How, Sojiro, how do you know that it was a kid? Like, Alice heard his voice, but you weren't there. Sojiro's face was a gold. Wait a minute. Nah. Sojiro's face was a ghostly pale as he muttered nervously. Aoko merely nodded in agreement.
ほんと。人の体を何だと思っているのかしらね。あのお子さん。なぬ
She got that too? Like, wait. We can't gloss over that. Aoko raised her head. She looked as if she had seen a ghost.
今、子供って言った？あんた、なんでそんなことまで知ってるの？
やっぱりそうなのか。金色の髪なんて2人もいないと思ったんだ。そいつなら一度見かけたことがある。青崎が口にしたような怪物じゃなかったけど、森の奥で。木の実が2人がかりでとっちめようなんて怖いこと言い出してさ。金一個ないから止めたんだよ。
Oh, the kid from... Oh! Okay, the kid from the fucking winter cleanup scene. That stole, like, the red bean soup and potatoes. Or just the potatoes. I even said afterward, there's no way that was just, like, a random thing. Oh my god. Okay. His tone was as curious as the things he was trying to articulate. Aoko, however, had more pressing matters. Much more pressing.
見たって、どこで？
学校の旧校舎。あ、そういえば挨拶程度なら話もしたっけ。一度だけアルバイトの時に牛肉50キロを生で届けたことがあって。
He was also the one ordering all the raw beef from all the places.
この大バカ者!
How is he supposed to know a little kid is... Okay. A strangely satisfying slapping sound rang out. Ignoring her wounds completely, Aoko had grabbed a slipper and thrown it at Sojiro's unassuming face as hard as she could. She panted as Sojiro was knocked completely out of his chair. For a while, neither moved.
なんで怒るんだ、青崎。
Yeah, I mean, it's not really your fault. Like, how are you supposed to fucking know? The boy asked, unfazed as he slowly picked himself up. He sat cross-legged as Aoko scowled at him like an enemy.
当たり前じゃない。なんでそんな怪しいこと黙ってんのよ、あんたは。
How are we supposed to know is abnormal?
言うほどのことでもない。第一、君たちにこんな話をしても怒られるだけじゃないか。
Yeah, probably. Aoko knew he was right, and so she swallowed her words. She imagined themselves at dinner.
ところで今日、牛肉の山を担いで届けたんだ。一匹丸ごと。いや、あるところにはあるものだね。お金と食欲。
No? If he had actually said it, Aoko and Alice's response would have been less than cordial.
そりゃそうだけど。
Yeah, uh-huh.
本当に金髪の子供が旧校舎にいたの？
それが青崎の言う人狼かどうか自信はないけど。
I mean...
少なくとも町中の料理店が入れ替わりでおかしな注文を届けてるのは事実だ。 駅前の大デートなんてお得意様だって。
確かに食事のたびにあいつを外に出してちゃ目立つだろうけど。
She didn't want to believe it, but the child had to be the werewolf. Could Toko really have been so careless as to hide him in plain sight? It didn't matter at this point. With the werewolf's habitat revealed, Toko's space had been revealed too. To take over the bounded field, she needed an inconspicuous place to store materials. Misaki High School's old school building was the perfect place.
つまり全ての鍵はあんたが隠し持ってたってわけね。
Why the fuck were we supposed to know?
隠していたんじゃない。だいたい青崎が裏山の掃除に参加していたらその時に分かったんじゃないか。
Ooh, that's a good point.
飛び丸一人に任せず青崎も掃除に出ればよかったんだ。
You got your ass. In response to Sojiro's infallible logic, Aoko snapped her fingers with a little blush. Okay, yeah, you can't. You lost that argument, so you decided to choke him out, huh? Instead of another slipper missile, she let the faithful white collar express how she felt. Rude. And with the tightening of the collar, Sojiro realized something. Aoko had changed. From the bed, she looked down on him with a commanding glare. Though weak from her injuries, she was as sharp as ever. You would be forgiven for forgetting she was ever a patient. She was raring to fight. It went without saying who her rage was directed at.
青崎。
Aoko responded in a vulnerable tone. Perhaps she'd been taken by surprise. Now she had an objective. She'd been lost in her own little world.
ありがとう、宗十郎。
He expected her to be sarcastic, but this was different. She was genuinely thanking him. He had never known her to be like this and was taken aback.
あのね、とにかく直子の居場所が分かったのはあんたのおかげだから、礼ぐらい言っておこうと思ったの。
Yeah, no, I got that.
それがお気に召さなかった。
いや、お礼を言ってもらえるのはいいことだけど。
What else you want?
まさかその体で東子さんのところに行くつもりか。
Okay. Yeah, that's a reasonable concern. His tone was closer to scolding than sympathetic. Aoko simply nodded resolutely.
取られたものは取り返すものよ、宗十郎。それもすぐに相手のものになってしまう前にね。ぐずぐずしている暇はないわ。
She sounded unshakable. Even so, Sojiro would not back down.
勝ち目がなくてもか。暇はないと言うけど、今はそれ以上に休息が必要だろう。その傷だって今は見れるけど、昨日はひどかったじゃないか。生きていたのが幸運なぐらいだ。
違うわ。あれは幸運なんかじゃない。そんな玉かっていうのよ、東子。
She purposefully didn't go far enough to kill you?
幸運じゃない。
そう。東子はね、私が生き残れる程度の傷にとどめたのよ。今回は見逃してやるから、もう一度やってこいって意味でね。だから私は生きてるんだし、東子は私が行くのを待ってる。お互いがお互いの舞台の幕を下ろすために。そうでなければここまで待った意味がないでしょ。いやだけど、あんたの言葉を借りるならね。
Irritation tainted Aoko's words. From the side, she looked terrifyingly serious. She was ready to fight to the death. Toko had given her little choice. Sojiro could understand neither sister.
殺すために生かしたっていうのか、トウコさんは。青崎はそれが分かっているのに行こうとしている。
そうよ。勝負はついたけど、まだ私たちの話は終わっていないもの。
I mean...
確かに全開してから行った方がいいに決まってる。けど、そうしている間にトウコは岬の深部にたどり着く。そうなったら、私の最後の切り札さえ使えなくなる。
And what's that, huh?
自分にできることを自分からなくしてしまうのは。
My phone won't shut up. Stop. Though the pain in her azure eyes was not as deep as the pain of death, it spoke of the regret she would feel if she didn't do everything possible while blood still flowed through her veins.
納得いったのなら黙ってて。いい？これは私の戦い。あんたには何の責任も関わりもない。私の人生なの。
I mean... sure.
座して死を待つなんてまっぴらごめんよ。勝つ気があるならいつまでもベッドで寝てるわけにはいかないでしょ。
Sojiro was dumbstruck. Aoko could never let anyone else get involved. Whether that was because she cared or cared less, he couldn't tell. What he did understand, though, was if he wanted to stop her, he would have to do so with his bare hands. And he knew better than to try that. Yeah. Even so, he had to ask one last question. If he didn't, he wouldn't be able to live with himself after leaving this room.
わからないな。青崎はなんでそこまでするのか、俺には想像もできない。君を縛っているのは義務と強制。どっちなんだろうね。
There was a sadness in his eyes. However, Aoko was unmoved by them.
らしくなく難しいこと聞いてくるのね。いいわ。口にしても仕方のないことだけど答えてあげる。その2つはね、常に私を圧迫してるものだと思う。けど勘違いはしないで。義務も強制も誇りも恐れも周りから与えられたものじゃない。トウコと戦うのをやめたところで祖父は私を叱らないだろうし、アリスも文句は言わないでしょう。ここで逃げてもそれはそれで誰にとってもどうでもいい話になって終わるだけ。だから他人は関係ない。本当に意味なんてないのよ、何にだって。でも私はトウコから逃げたりしない。これはただのここにいるっていう存在証明なの。私は単に意味がないからこそできることは全部やるって決めただけなんだから。
That's a bit harsh on yourself. My life has no meaning. That's kind of sad. With fiery passion, Aoko Awazaki had said her piece. Sojiro was left with a pang in his chest. He didn't know why, but her words angered him. Then again, at the same time, her self-confidence had him in wonder. Even though she'd said that her life had no meaning, her stubbornness gave meaning to everything.
じゃあ、それがたとえ。
Without thinking, he started to ask another question. Maybe he wanted to change her mind. Maybe he just wanted to hear her answer.
たとえ他の誰も見ていなかったとしても。
It came out as a murmur. Indeed, if no one was watching, no one could know that she had fled. This was the situation Aoko was in. Even so, she shot him down instantly.
あら、見てるわよ。少なくとも私自身がね。
True. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's... What the... Why the dramatic... Why the dramatic zoom in on his eyes? Her expression brightened. Possibly because she'd been surprised at having to state the obvious. Sojiro was wide-eyed in shock, but Aoko remained nonchalant.
知らないの、宗十郎。
No.
生きてく上で一番の観客っていうのはね、他ならぬ自分自身なのよ。だから人生っていうのは油断ならないんじゃない？
Yeah, I suppose. Sojiro didn't respond to her somewhat exasperated tone, but simply rose to his feet. He looked defeated, which wasn't like him at all.
宗十郎？
すまない。君が素晴らしいことを言っているのはわかるんだ。けど、俺にはわからない。
Okay. He meekly walked toward the door. As he placed his hand on the doorknob, he paused. For a few seconds, he fought with himself, desperately trying to think of something to say. No words came forth, and so he opened the door, which swung with a strange creak, and he left the room. After watching him go, Aoko turned her gaze toward the window. It was nearly evening. A thin veil of darkness was threatening to descend onto the town outside. I'll be honest, I have no idea as to why he reacted that way to what she said. Like, I'll just be straight up. I have no fucking clue. Does... I don't know, is it that he just can't relate to that? But I feel like, if anything, he should be the only one who can relate to that. Because he always, like, works hard no matter what. Even when it's only for himself. Like, his own peace of mind. So it's like, I don't understand why that surprised him so. I guess. I'm gonna stop there though. It's getting hot where I live. It's like I have to record these like early in the morning. If I wake up even an hour late, I don't have time to record. And it's starting to get hot where I'm at, so I'm gonna stop there. I know it's really inconvenient, but I need to be able to turn the fans on so I don't overheat. But yeah, a lot of things came full circle, like with the beef and the kid at the old school building, and some things to think on. Because I gave an idea, but I'm still not entirely certain why he reacted so viscerally to Aoko's words just then. So that's something to think on. But yeah, anyway. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you next time, where we will finish, chapter 11, 12, whatever it is.